Welcome, mountain biking fans of the world. Right now, we have the Pump Track Challenge presented by RockShox. It's the event where they keep spectators on their toes and riders off their seats as every move counts on this course right behind me. The course is riding wonderfully. I've talked to the guys. Let's get right to it. Welcome to Crankworx Les Gets.
A very big hello and a very big welcome to all of you watching us on our broadcast here, our second broadcast here in Les Gets, the second stop on the Crankworx World Tour out here. Small village out here, 30 kilometers nestled between some amazing scenery out here. And I know, Cam, you're excited because this is one of our favorite events, Pump Track Challenge presented by RockShox.
Yeah, Pump Track Challenge is always fun. We do it at nighttime, so there's kind of that party atmosphere with the crowd, and it starts out kind of lighthearted, and then, of course, those points are up for grabs, so it gets serious as we start getting into those elimination rounds.
But how amazing is Les Gets when it comes down to the terrain and the options that you can ride out here?
Yeah, you hear about the Port du Soleil region from bike riders from all over the world. This is a very popular spot for World Cup racers to come and train, and for good reason. There's 90 trails, 3 lifts that allow you to take your mountain bike up, and right here in Les Gets, we're in this beautiful valley, and that allows you to go up both sides of the valley. One side has the steeper trails, the other side has the more mellow, rolly trails. You can bring your kids, have a nice little lap.
Well, 25 years of riding history out here. It all began back in 1992, and it's going strong so much even today. Now, we talk a lot about favorite trails. You tell me about your favorite trails everywhere we go, but I know you got some favorite trails out here, don't you?
Yeah, let's take a look at this trail. This trail is named, well, it's probably one of the most difficult French words to ever pronounce, so I'm just going to translate. It's called the Squirrel.
That's good enough, man.
Yeah, and it's basically one of those trails that is all about fun and flow. Classic flow trail, and in contrast to some of the French mountain bike resorts, you actually get to dip into the trees and kind of, you know, pump some rollers in the woods, kind of feeling like you're in BC. So really bringing that Crankworx spirit from Whistler all the way over to Europe.
And it looks so fun from top to bottom. These guys just having a go at it.
Yeah, it looks kind of similar. Like if you were to be in Whistler riding Crank It Up, this is kind of Les Gets' version of Crank It Up.
And you can see just how smooth this is, and just that's the terrain that you have out here in Les Gets. Some amazing trails indeed out here in Les Gets. All right, so Cam, the question to you, if you look at the start list, you see there's like 10 people you think that could win this thing, but who are the people we really need to watch for here tonight?
When we're talking about pump track at any of the Crankworx stops, smart money is on Adrian Larone. And now more than ever, he was the designer and course builder of the pump track we have here in Les Gets.
Wow, that gives him an advantage, doesn't it?
Well, he's going to be coming in swinging, so not only does he have an advantage because he's really been looking at this course a lot, he knows it inside and out, but he is going to be out for vengeance. He got second place in Rotorua by a very tiny margin. And we're going to see that race right here. Look how tight it actually was.
Well, he's always a podium threat, but the guy he lost to?
That would be Thomas Lemoyne. And Thomas Lemoyne has been on a tear. He actually finally stood on the top step of the podium in Rotorua. He comes from that dirt jump slope style background, but you know, a big threat in this race format as well. It took him a long time to do it, but he finally won one in Rotorua.
What a special win for him indeed. Now we'll talk about the ladies. Is it easy to break down for the ladies then?
It seems like we keep talking about the same 2 girls every stop, and those 2 girls are Jill Kintner and Annika Beerten. They always seem to end up in the final together, and then at the end of the season, they always seem to be battling it out for that Queen of Crankworx title, so all the points given tonight are very, very important.
Well, and Jill Kintner has won it more times than any other woman in the field when it comes to the Pump Track Challenge.
Pretty cool seeing them racing together. They both come from BMX backgrounds, but now legends in the mountain bike space, so appropriate to always see them in the finals together.
So that's important stuff right there. Those are the riders that you want to keep your eye out for in this competition coming your way. All right, we've talked about the riders. Let's talk a little bit about the course. For more on that, we got Hannah Bernard. Hannah, how's things looking down there?
Guys, given the conditions here today, Mother Nature's been playing tricks on us all day, rain and then sunshine, rain and then sunshine. The course is actually amazing. They kept it really dry. All of the crew here has been doing an amazing job keeping this course very dry, and the riders are very happy about it.
Well, wait a minute, though. Cam, I'm sure you got a question for it, because how could it be dry after all this rain?
I'm just trying to figure it out. I know you've been down there talking with Alex Dropsy and Adrian Larone. They've basically been building this out of mud, and pump track, it's very important that the surface is hard packed. What was some of the tricks they used to pull that off?
Actually, some really cool techniques that Alex was using. They actually had 30 days to build all of the courses here at Crankworx Les Gets, and only 5 of those days were sunshine, so they had to get creative. So what they actually did is they mixed in concrete to this track, so making it really hard. Yeah, concrete.
So it's like a skate
riding
park.
amazing. It is. It really is. And you know what? The riders were saying it's riding so nice. So we're going to see some fast times coming out at the Pump Track Challenge here tonight, guys.
Well, thank you so much, Hannah. We look forward to that. We know the racing's going to be coming hot and heavy. But I'll tell you what, a very new addition to Crankworx is all about the fantasy at Crankworx. Take a look at this.
Yeah, we were talking about this earlier. Think fantasy baseball, fantasy football. Just a pretty cool way to get involved in the action. You get to build your own dream team.
Well, you know what? And I'm pretty good at building a dream team, because I'm 2 for 2 on the first call with Speed and Style today. And you were talking a lot of trash earlier that your team was going to be mine, man.
And of course, now you're rubbing it in. But look, this is the beginning of a long week. I'm sure you probably blew your budget on the first day. I have a carefully crafted strategy here, and at the end of the week, you're not going to be laughing so hard.
And here's the deal. If you pick the correct riders and they come out on top, you can win. And not only do you win big. You can win a trip for 2 to Crankworx Whistler, 5 nights at the Ava Whistler Hotel, accommodations, and Crankworx Whistler VIP accreditation. I'll tell you what, Cam, I'll let you come with me when I win this. Wow, who would have thought that Darryl Brown would have got the win? Oh, wait, I picked him on my fantasy, so maybe I knew that one.
You're enjoying this, aren't you?
I'm going to rub this one in the whole entire night. All right.
Well, last, buddy.
Well, coming up for you, don't go anywhere. The track is dry, things are looking good, the sun is starting to set, because your Pump Track Challenge presented by RockShox, well, that's coming up next. Stay with us.
Since the beginning of mountain bike suspension, people have used the same kind of thinking. Build the bike first, and then make the shock fit. But what if we design the shock first? Untethered from the old thinking, these new shocks are free to run with far less friction, making them super supple and reactive. Introducing our all-new Deluxe and Super Deluxe, the first metric offerings from RockShox. Because better shocks make better bikes. To be the best, you have to go all in. We're all in, 100% dedicated to one bike. The 12-speed cassette's 10 to 50-tooth spread gives you a 500% gear range. This is Eagle, the all-new generation of one-by drivetrain technology from the company that lives one-by.
And Crankworx Les Gets brought to you by Whistler Mountain Bike Park. Love the feeling of being truly awake, Whistler Mountain Bike Park. And welcome back to your Pump Track Challenge presented by RockShox. Beautiful evening here as the sun is setting. But there's been a lot of talk about the Pump Track Challenge. And taking a look at things right now, the crowd is filing in, Cam, and they're ready for the big show. It looks like weather cooperating. We're going to get this baby going. Let's take a look at the brackets to start things off here as the crowd files in, and it looks like a packed house for sure. Here's how it's going to go. This is how we start things off. with your field of 16 to get things started with the guys.
Well, as we expected, it looks like we saw Adrian Lerone qualify first. He'll be going up against Jackson Frew in the first round.
Well, let's get right to it right now. Our riders stacked and racked. We headed out there. All attention on Adrian Lerone, Jackson Frew. France versus Australia, the first matchup, and here we go.
Busy day for Adrian Lerone. Obviously, he's probably involved in making sure this pump track is ready for finals tonight after a massive downpour, but he's in the finals of dual speed and style earlier as well. There we go, crossing the finish line first is Adrian Lerone. No big surprise there, but Jackson Frew definitely hot on his tail.
Well, we talked a lot about Adrian Lerone earlier, and, you know, doing double duty today. Now you got Phil Atwil, he's going at it. Michael Giznet from France, so Great Britain versus France here.
16, get ready.
All right, wow, looking pretty neck and neck out of the start. Phil Atwil with maybe a tiny bit of an advantage, but hard to say. Yeah, it looks like Phil Atwil on the left side of your screen. Slight advantage coming into that final straightaway, but that is a long final straightaway. And that gap was narrowed.
All right, so let's talk a little bit about the format here. Can you break down what we're looking for in today's competition to move on in?
Well, if you were watching our dual speed and style broadcast earlier, this is going to be similar, except we're not dealing with tricks right now. This is a straight up race format. There's 2 courses, they switch. The rider who lost has to make up that differential, and that's how you advance.
So simple enough on that one. Mitch Ropolato now and Kyle Straight on the right, Ropolato on the left. USA versus USA. Oh, Kyle Straight means business here. Here we go.
Oh, wow, Kyle almost sliding out of the gate right there. Able to hold on, didn't lose too much speed. He's actually making it to that back berm at the same time as Mitch Ropolato, but it's all about pumping the straightaway right now. Mitch with a little bit more efficiency on that final straightaway, could be because he's on a hardtail. Kyle Straight doing all he can to pump that full suspension slopestyle bike through that rhythm section.
And let's take a look at the start on this one.
Oh. It's been raining so hard that start gate is quite wet. You see his back tire slide out.
Yeah, you know, that's something that these guys all know that they're going to have to deal with. But you see right there, so Mitch Ropolato.
It's pretty impressive that Kyle didn't fall right there. All of his momentum going forward and then nothing to push against.
And now Joe Smith, Cheney Gunet from France. Joe Smith, he is on the left, Cheney on the right.
Cheney with a little bit of a lead out of the gate. One thing I'm noticing about this course, Brad, is it's quite a bit longer than the one we had a couple months ago in Rotorua, New Zealand.
And we're in the Sweet 16 going on. The winner's going to be Cheney on that one, so he is going to have the advantage. So advantage going to Cheney on the matchup right there. So in the thick of things here, in your Pump Track Challenge presented by RockShox here. And Leger in Crankworx stop at number 2 here in the Crankworx World Tour. Yeah, so we'll be checking in with Hannah just in a little bit as we get the rest of our racers ready to go. 2-run format. If you get the advantage on the first one, let's send it down to Hannah and check in with Hannah right now. Hannah?
Hey, thank you very much, guys. Well, we are here at the Pump Track Challenge presented by RockShox, and I have a RockShox athlete here with me, Kyle Straight. He just completed the first heat of his heat. Now, Kyle, how are you feeling right now?
You know, I'm feeling pretty good. The rain kind of stopped. It's here and there, but everything's riding pretty fun, actually.
Now, I know there's a lot of viewers at home that are going to want to know how you have set up your bike, how you set up your shocks, how much pressure you have, and then walk us through what you have set up for us today.
Yeah, you know what? I'm running RockShox Pike DJ right now. I have about 160 in there, and I'm about 2 clicks from all the way closed. So I'm running really stiff out here, but it's obviously running great, and hopefully we can keep making it through the rounds.
Now, you mentioned you're a RockShox athlete. What does it mean to you to be participating in an event that's sponsored by RockShox?
Well, it's all the atmosphere. I mean, every time we have like the RockShox pump track going on, I mean, it's so much fun. I mean, like, look at everybody around us, and like they got beer gardens and everybody's cheering for you, and you're just like, oh, I gotta get it. So yeah.
It's definitely a fun event. Best of luck in your second heat. Kyle Straight, guys.
All right, Kyle Straight. Nice mustache, Kyle. All right, here we go. Thomas Slavic now, and Kevin McQuell from France now. Tomas versus Kevin here, Czech Republic. versus France. And we're back to racing here.
Wow, another near squirrel out on the gate start there. The moisture on the run-in is definitely going to be playing a factor, but Thomas Slavic putting the power down and easily taking the advantage of 0.63.
All right, Slavic just looking so smooth. Let's take a look at how he looked at those final rollers for Slavic. Take a look at this.
I think these rollers are a whole lot deeper than the ones we had in Rotorua as well. Look how the riders almost disappear down under that. That's a step up to step down. If you can find your flow on that final straightaway, you can either hold on to your lead or really make up some ground if you're behind.
Definitely found his flow there. So Slavic's going to go. Now here we got Martin Soderstrom. He's going against Keegan Wright. Now Soderstrom get eliminated earlier in dual speed and style. He is hard charging. He wants redemption, and this is his chance to do it right there. Soderstrom qualifying in that number 6 spot. So Soderstrom on the right. This is a guy who can do it now.
We heard Soderstrom in his interview after he was eliminated from dual speed and style. He was honest about being angry and wanting to make up for it tonight in the pump track challenge. Oh man, he looks to be on form today, Brad.
Yeah, the big Swede with vengeance. Taking down Keegan Wright on their first matchup. They do it again, switch courses. So what these guys do is switch courses on their second run. Take a look at this right here.
So Martin, he's so tall. He's got those long legs, those long arms. It really allows him to put that bike exactly where he needs it to be. He's very efficient in a pump track. And he's got the mental game today too, because he's basically down to his last event of the festival. He wants to get a result.
Yeah, that's for sure. You know, he's focused on speed and style and pump track. Max Fredriksson and Barry Nobles now. USA's Barry Nobles. He is going to be on the left. And Max Fredriksson, the Swede, on the right now. Their first matchup. You can see getting some last-minute instructions right there.
This is my chance here, Brad. I actually picked Max Fredriksson on my fantasy team. He's been looking good in all disciplines out here. And it looks like he's, losing the front tire in that left-hand berm, taking out one of the timing devices or a camera flash. Oh, man.
He went down.
I'm hoping he didn't hit too hard. He's got a big day tomorrow with slope style. Don't forget your phone there, Max.
Your phone. There you go.
Look at that, just so he could tweet his results instantly. He's racing with his phone in his pocket.
Well, he's not going to Snapchat that one, that's for sure. Let's take a look, and maybe we can see what went wrong there.
All right, watch the front tire entering this left-hand berm.
Oh, yeah, washes route.
The back tire actually washed first. Brad, that's actually reminiscent of...
Okay, yeah, we're going to bring this up now.
I've seen footage of you doing something quite similar.
4 years ago, yes, I had an announcer race, washed out, and I slammed pretty hard. But I didn't have my phone on me, dude.
Yeah, that was...
All right, now we take a look. Eileen Sharon and Adrian Daly now. You can see a little bit of rain starting to fall, but this thing is firmed up. So Sharon and Daly going at it. France versus France here.
All right, Daly on the right, Sharon on the left. It looks like Sharon's off to an early lead. But now that we know how slippery that back berm is, we're really going to be watching closely at the traction of front and rear tires. There we go. Sharon ahead by 0.69.
Daly, of course, the EWS junior champ from last year on the EWS. So, but not getting the advantage on that one.
Watching Max Fredriksson slide out, for all the other competitors, that's also really got to like raise some eyebrows, especially because it is sprinkling right now. So you got to moderate your speed based on how much rain is on that course.
And so our next riders getting ready to go here. Your pump track challenge presented by RockShox. Now we go back to the Adrian Lerone Jackson Frew matchup. And Adrian Lerone, talked about him. He had a lot to do with putting this course together, but he's getting off his bike right now.
You know what, I'm thinking these guys are really not loving the precipitation we're seeing right now. It does make it really difficult to keep traction on those berms, but you know, it's like driving over a windy pass in the rain. You got to just slow down, and whoever's able to gauge that properly is going to take it.
Let's take a look at the brackets right now. Those green dots that you see, that means that person has the advantage going into their second matchup. So with Adrian Lerone getting ready to go against Jackson Frew, he has the advantage. And then we're going to be seeing Phil Altwill going against Michael Giznet on that one. And Mitch Ropolato showing that Mitch has the advantage over Kyle Straight on that. And then Cheney Gwinnett also having the advantage over Joe Smith. Thomas Slavic doing his thing over Kevin McNeil in that one. And then you got, of course, Keegan Wright and Martin Soderstrom. And Martin just holding it down. So a little bit of a rain hold right now. And of course, because it's a wood drop-in. So that's the deal on that one right there, because you don't want these guys slipping out for sure.
See, this is where it gets tricky. It's
right.
possible to ride around the track in the rain. It's just very difficult to do it fast. So,
well, Cam, they always say it takes a perfect pump to make things happen and try and take the win on here. So why don't you take us through us and tell us and explain what the perfect pump is?
Let's take a look and see what actually defines the perfect pump. This is the gold medal round from Rotorua. On the left side of your screen, we have Adrian Lerone. Stop that right there. All right, check it out. So he's making his bike and body light. He's got his elbows bent, his weight over the front of the bike. His eyes are pointed down the track. Essentially, he's in front of the bike, lifting up, trying to make the bike light so it is not losing speed while going up the roller. And then stop again. Here he is going down the back side of the roller. Now he's trying to make himself as heavy as possible. He's far behind the bike. His arms are more extended. His butt is right over the rear tire, driving all that weight straight down over the middle of the rear tire so he can accelerate down that roller. Now they were neck and neck coming into this final straightaway, but I want to highlight this right here. Stop. All right. So we've got Lemoyne right now. He's choosing to manual these rollers. He's got his back tire in the bowl of that thing, just squeezing out every little ounce of speed possible. Whereas Lerone on the right side of the screen is gapping it, kind of losing a little bit of speed because he's popping. So Lemoyne basically put the pedal to the metal, the power to the ground, and was able to just squeak out ahead of Lerone on that one.
Yeah, and that's exactly what you're talking about. I like how you break that down, because that's kind of the subtleties that people don't necessarily know if you've never competed in a pump track at all. That's the kind of thing you need to look at.
It's cool watching these guys in slow motion because it's completely second nature to them. They're making themselves light, they're making themselves heavy, using their body weight in different ways to distribute that weight. They don't even really realize they're doing it because it's just like, you know, it's just like taking a step for them. They're such pros.
Yeah, you're really handy with that chalk, by the way. I didn't know you were such an artist. Well, they're covering the course right now, just in a slight rain delay, just making sure things are safe for all the riders. So as we cover the course, we'll get back with you here in a little bit, and we'll stack and rack the guys again. They have the second matchups for our round of 16 for the guys, so don't go anywhere. It's Leger. It's your Pump Track Challenge presented by RockShox, and stop number 2 on the Crankworx World Tour. We'll be right back.
To be the best, you have to go all in. We're all in. 100% dedicated to one bike. The 12-speed cassette's 10 to 50 tooth spread gives you a 500% gear range. This is Eagle, the all-new generation of one-by drivetrain technology from the company that lives one-by.
And Crankworx Les Gets brought to you by SRAM. The power of bicycles, SRAM. And you can see the guys scrambling right now to get the tarps on the course. Rain starting to fall just a little bit harder now, so that's going to make things a little different with us right now. So just making sure that we are all safe and ready to go with all the riders. All right, so it is time for in, out, and on the bubble. You ready to play?
My favorite.
It's your favorite?
I like it. It's a good game.
Let's play. First thing is, I guess we want to ask, what is in?
Well, in would have to be Thomas Lemoyne. After a whole handful of podium appearances, he just couldn't clinch that win until a few months ago in Rotorua. He finally did it. He put it to Adrien Lerone, so he's officially in the Pump Track Challenge.
Okay, well, we got in. Now, what would be out this year?
Well, out of all the disciplines we have at a Crankworx Festival, Pump Track Challenge definitely has the shortest course. So if you blink, you're going to miss it. So do not miss an opportunity to generate speed over those rollers. Blinking is definitely out.
All right, well, one of my favorites is on the bubble. What is on the bubble this year?
It has to be dirt jump, Groms, just because, you know, kids who hang out at the dirt jumps, it's all about pumping, generating speed. So we're seeing more and more young dirt jump kids sign up for this Pump Track Challenge. We saw it in New Zealand. Will we see it again here in France? I know there's a big dirt jump scene here, so it could happen again.
Yeah, what was that kid's name? Connor? How did you say his last name? Mahukia or what?
Something like that.
That kid was insane.
Connor pumps a lot. That's what we'll call him because he made it so far in that round. He was a complete unknown. Very impressive. So will we see that trending now here in France as well?
Well, as you can see what's going on here, we are currently in a rain delay here in Crankworx and Les Gets here, our second stop on our world tour. And we got through the speed and style today. The weather cooperated on that one, but right now not cooperating us. So I think we should probably be checking in with Hannah in just a moment here and get a course report. Let's check in with her right now. Hannah, what's going on down there?
Guys, it's not so much a course report as it is a weather report. Obviously, as you can see, Mother Nature has changed her mind again. We have quite a bit of rain coming down right now. I had a chance to chat with the course builder, Alex Dropsy. He was saying that right now what we should do is cover this up. So that's what we have done in order to keep the course dry. We do see blue sky in sight, so hopefully this rain cloud will pass. We'll be able to get the contest underway, but number one priority is rider safety. We saw a few guys slipping out. Want to make sure that that is not happening. So for now, we're on this rain delay, and I will keep you updated with when we're going to get stuff underway once again. Back up to you.
Well, Hannah, thank you so much for checking in with us on that one. And yeah, rider safety, paramount no matter what. But then we also think about the wood elements that drop in. We talk about that. I mean, they can cover the course, but the wood, you need that to dry. So they're going to have to do a little work on that, won't they?
Yeah, absolutely. It's hard to dry this stuff once it gets wet. It's been tarped the entire time. So yes, it's impressive they were able to even make the course with all the rain they've been getting. But the only reason why it has stayed dry is because anytime any precipitation starts to fall, they run out there real quick and put the tarps on. So it's good that they have them on now, and hopefully we're going to be able to salvage this thing because, like she was saying, the weather's been changing every 5 minutes. We've been seeing it all day, so it wouldn't be out of the question for this to just blow over real quick.
Yeah, what's the old saying? If you don't like the weather, wait 5 minutes, it's going to change on you.
What they
all
say.
Right. Well, today, earlier, we took care of it. Our dual speed and style, an amazing competition all the way through. Let's take a look at some of the highlights from today from your dual speed and style. Take a look.
Well, the dual speed and style finals here in Les Gets, I'm honestly going to say this is the best one I've ever seen. With a little reboot in the format, we saw Daryl Brown and Adrien Lerone make it into the finals. Both of them kind of coming out of their comfort zone. Daryl Brown, a jumper, Adrien Lerone, more of a racer. But look at how fast Daryl Brown was going, drifting into those grass bank corners, looking like a seasoned slalom racer. And then take a look at Adrien Lerone, trying a 360 and landing perfect. We haven't seen him do that in a dual speed and style contest before, but look at the victorious slide into the finish line by Daryl Brown. His big combos and his speed were rewarded, and the rookie took the win.
What a race.
So now, the speed was there.
Oh, man, right there. What a day for him right there, getting that big win, right?
That was a good show, man. It was so cool to see the format changes and just down to the wire finish.
So when we talk about the format changes, why did you like the format change so much in dual speed and style?
Well, it's a great idea, dual speed and style, but it's actually really hard to crunch the numbers and figure out how to balance the scores with the time and the deductions. How does that all work? So it has taken a few years to where speed, tricks, and style are all kind of equal, and you can actually not win with just one or the other. You got to be fast and have tricks.
Is that because in the past we've seen racers end up winning without throwing any tricks on the jumps? Is that why?
Absolutely. People were not that happy. I mean, fans, competitors, they just thought that it was a little bit skewed when Thomas Slavic won in Rotorua. Nothing against Slavic. He was so fast, but he didn't do a trick the entire time. And Kyle Straight was right on his tail in the finals with that double tail up. Should be worth enough to at least scoot him forward the extra like 30 feet that he was behind. And so it was obvious that the format needed a little reboot. Luckily, organizers crunched the numbers, figured it out. Not easy to do, but it seems to be working.
Well, it's definitely an amazing place. When we first heard the news that we were coming out here to Leger, I was excited about it. It was a change in venues for us, but it's an amazing place for sure.
So take a look at this place. Here's some of the statistics that make this place so popular. 3 lifts, 90 trails, massive elevation, and you've seen the scenics. We're in this valley right here, so you've got lifts on this side, you got lifts on that side. Basically a massive playground if you want to rip with your buddies and really hammer it and try to improve yourself as a rider, or just take your family out for a good rip.
Okay, so well, a lot of people, that brings me to my next question. People talk about the NAR factor of what the trails are, all about the black diamonds, but there's a little bit something for everyone. You've experienced some other trails that you like too as well, right?
Let's check out another trail they have here in Leger. This one's called The Shore. We're gonna see some footage of this trail. I'm not sure exactly why they call it The Shore. It doesn't seem to have any North Shore wooden features on it, but it looks like a really fun trail, Brad.
Oh, this looks like something right up my alley, Cam.
So I guess this trail comes into play. You always hear people talking about the gnarly downhill that you find here in Port du Soleil, especially Leger, but this one is the kind of trail you want to just flow with your buddies. There's some jumps, yeah, but nothing too huge. I think we should go hit this one up later.
So you're thinking that this trail would be good for me, right?
I think you can handle this. There's not too many rollers. I know you got a problem with those rollers, but there are a couple gaps. I know you like catching air. I say we hit it up.
Well, thank you so much for that vote of confidence, Cam. I really appreciate that. Couldn't resist that, right? Just taking a little shot at me in that. But you know what? In all seriousness, that looks fun. And you talk about bringing families out there, and that's what it's all about. You can bring your family out because there are trails for everyone.
Yeah, I mean, this is a great place for a Crankworx festival because of that reason. People love to spectate, but they also love to take part for themselves and take their family out on a ride. This is a great place to do that.
Is it time for the Crankworx poll? What do you think?
Now is a great time. It's good a time as any. Why not?
Well, you know, we're kind of waiting for this weather to blow through right now, so let's take a look at the Crankworx poll for this one, for tonight's show. And it is this: Mr. Consistent, Adrian Lerone, is a sure shot for the podium at Crankworx Pump Track events. Can we expect, number one, another podium on the pile for that man, full domination from the Frenchies, or number three, the French guys get butterflies and fail to podium? Thoughts
Well, if
for
he's
you?
dominating anything, it's definitely our surveys, because we were talking about him earlier in dual speed and style, and of course he did podium, so you'd be a fool not to answer one, right? That's what I'm tweeting in.
Yeah, you know what? I look at the podiums in New Zealand. He podiumed out there in second. Then you go back to Whistler. He won it in Whistler. And then you go back to France last year. He won that one. Then you go back to New Zealand 2015. He was not on the podium, and in Whistler 2014. But the guy is always a threat for the podiums. For me, another podium on the pile is what I'm thinking.
There we go. Head over to crankworx.com to make your vote. Hashtag Crankworx on Twitter. Make your opinion known.
Exactly. All right, so while we're in a rain delay, hang with us. We'll keep you updated with what's going on. This is the place to be. We'll find out more from the course and see if that rain's going to back off in just a little bit. So stay with us. Don't go anywhere. Crankworx Leger will be back with more and update you guys right after this. Stay with us.
$30,000 trails in your pocket. Trailforks. Download the free app now.
Crankworx Les Gets, brought to you by SRAM, the power of bicycles, SRAM. Well, unfortunately, by the looks of this, you can see that. Yep, it is a covered pump track right now. The rain started to fall, so people have went to seek shelter. And right now, just had to cover things up. Still hoping to get this thing going here, but it's a tough break, man. You get things going like that, Cam, where we're thinking that we're going to be ahead of it, and all of a sudden, Mother Nature kind of rains on our parade a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, we're off to a good start. You know, things were really rolling, and it was dumping. Now it's just sprinkling. So is that, I don't know, a step in the right direction, perhaps?
Maybe it is a step in the right direction, for sure. I mean, but it seems like the course can handle the rain, but it's not the course at this point. When the rain goes on the wood features on the takeoff, you're sliding all over the place, right?
Yeah, sometimes they get out there with the tiger torches, trying to use the heat to dry it off. We may see that pop out if the rain stops a little bit more. They're just kind of waiting to make sure that it's blown over because, you know, you get a big downpour, a little break, then another big downpour. We're trying to find out if this is a sizable lull or not.
Well, right now we're noticing it's kind of backing off, but, you know, I don't want to second guess it at this point, but I'll tell you what, things went real good on the first day of action here on Wednesday. The Whip-Off Challenge presented by Spank. You're out there for that. How fun was that?
It was awesome, man. Like another evening like tonight where it was a bit rainy and there was some skepticism in the air about the wooden ramp and it being slippery because when you're whipping, you know, you're really leaning off the side of the bike and it's easier for your tires to slide. But as you can see, after a couple riders had guinea pigged that thing, we are off to the races. Backflips, Supermans, flat 360s, and knack-knacks. All the fireworks that usually happen at the beginning of a whip-off contest. But take a look at some of the whips that went down. Carson Storch, Ryan Howard right there.
Dog.
Just take a moment to savor the style. Andreo, of course, classic, flat spin 360s. But Bernardo Cruz, man. It was all about Bernardo Cruz and Casey Brown taking the win, spraying the champagne. It was a good show.
It seems like that Bernardo Cruz and our dog, Ryan Howard, seem to go neck and neck all the time when it comes to that whip-off, right?
Well, I was talking to the judges. They were like really sweating it, saying, I think it was a tie. How do we figure out how to tie break? So it was like, you know, like a jury trial. They sat in there and they deliberated for a long time, and everybody in the crowd kind of knew it was between three guys, Louis Rabol, Bernardo Cruz, and Ryan Howard. They were all kind of a league above the rest. And the judges figured it out. They awarded it to Bernardo.
All right, well, we have Hannah Bernard. She's standing by with a special guest. Let's check in with her right now. Hannah, who do you have with you?
Thanks, guys. I'm taking advantage of this rain delay, and I'm going to talk to Adrien Laurent. Now, Adrien, you actually helped build this course. You came to Les Gets a few weeks early. Talk to me about the experience.
Yes, I came to help the guys, like Alex Dropsy and Pef. We had a deal, and I came to have my experience and my advice to do the best course that we can do, and we tried our best, and I think it's not too bad.
It looks really nice. Yeah. All we need is the rain to hold off, and they are untarping it right now, so we're going to get the competition underway shortly. But I want to talk, does that give you a little bit of an advantage now that you actually helped build this course?
Of course, to be honest, I think yes, because I designed it, so I know how it's going to work. But I really did not train on it because I had no time. We had so much rain. So I think, yeah, I designed it, but we have the same training for everybody, and it's always difficult anyway.
Let's talk about the contest here today. You were just about to come down for your second run of the heat. How are you feeling coming into the contest? You came so close to winning the King of Crankworx last year. How bad do you want it this year?
Yeah, I'm chasing the title, but now I know the championship is really long. Until the last day, you have to stay focused and try to catch the much punch that you can. So yeah, we'll see in Canada.
All right, well, they are taking the tarp off of the course, so you have your next run up. Yep. Very best of luck to you. Guys, back up to you.
Well, Adrien Laurent, what a solid dude right there, indeed. A pump track crusher for sure. Let's take a look at the overall standings right now when it comes to pump track. Well, obviously, Thomas Lemoyne in that top spot. You see why, because he took the win. But if you go down to that third spot, Matt Walker, injured, not able to ride that 75 is all he's going to have. Adrien Laurent would like to turn that 100 into a couple more digits, but Thomas Lemoyne in that top spot, but he is not in this one. So that's going to be interesting. This is an opportunity for Adrien Laurent to make things happen. There you can see as they dry things out right now. There's Darren Kennard getting busy on that one.
Yeah, Darren getting dirty. I love it.
He's not scared to work. and organize and make things happen. Why don't we take a look at some of the action from the earlier stuff that we saw as these guys are taking the tarps off. How come Hannah's not down there helping?
Well, pretty excited to see the tarps coming off. Here's what it looked like before they went on. Phil Atwell there on the left-hand side of your screen. That was before the rain started falling. You can see how fast those guys were going around that back berm right there.
And then the next matchup.
That was when we first started seeing clues that we may have a little precipitation falling. Kyle Straight sliding out in the gate, but holding it tight in the berm. And really not that far behind Mitch Ropolato, so I can't wait to see them switch sides and go at it again now that these tarps are coming off.
Well, Mitch Ropolato, he won it 3 times in a row when we first started this thing. And then taking a look at the next matchup after that.
Yeah, you know, watch those rear tires. The further we got into these rounds, the more you can see the course getting slick and slick. Let's see if we're going to see Max Fredriksson come into that left-hander there. That was when we really knew it was getting a bit too slippery.
And we got their split screen showing the course being worked on, showing some replays from the first matchup from the guys.
So Thomas Slavic wasn't able to repeat his win in dual speed and style today. So I know he woke up this morning dreaming of a gold medal. Maybe he can pull it off in the pump track.
And he's going to have the opportunity, hopefully, as things have been changing. Conditions definitely changing for the better right now.
And Martin Soderstrom, now that we get to see this replay, let's just look at how he uses his long legs and his long arms now that we've seen that perfect pump little telestrator feature. It's just, look how big he is. That
well, he's like
profile.
7'10". He is a huge man, and he scoots over that back tire, and that gets his momentum going. He's able to stay over and keep that speed going for Martin.
It's not rare to see him manual whole sections, but here's that run we were talking about earlier. This is when we realized things were starting to get a little slick. Look at that back tire to front tire to face.
That's the scorpion right there from Max Fredriksson.
Luckily, he popped up real quick. He's got a big day tomorrow in slopestyle, so hoping he didn't tweak anything.
And then our next matchup after that one.
Yeah, now you can see the gloss on the berms where the light's hitting. There's just that sheen of water.
An advantage right there, 0.69. Adrian Daly going to take that one. And looks like we've got the torch off right now, so it is dry enough to be able to go. Here's a look at Mitch Ropolato. And I talk about Mitch, man. When we started this thing years ago, it was all the talk was about Mitch Ropolato and Jill Kittner, because back then we were only doing it in Whistler, and that was the first time Pump Track came out. Mitch Ropolato won the first 3. Jill came out on the ladies' side and won the first 4. So it was all about them. And talking to Mitch earlier today, Mitch started telling me that people started training for it. And that's when he noticed it was not getting, he said it was so easy for him for the first 3 wins. And then after that, people training and people coming back, and they're taking care of.
Well, he had that natural talent. Now that everybody's taking it so seriously, he's got to put in that time as well, but he looks strong today.
All right, well, let's check in here, and let's check in with our girl right there, Hannah Bernard, standing by with Mitch Ropolato in the mix right now. Hannah?
Thank you very much, Brad. Yes, I'm here at the starting gate for the Pump Track Challenge presented by RockShox, and I got here with me Rich Ropolato. Now, Mitch, we were talking earlier yesterday, and you were saying that Pump Track used to be kind of a little bit more chill, and you kind of got on the podium quite a bit, and then people started really caring and putting in the hard work now. Like, how are you feeling coming into this contest here today?
I'm a little bit unprepared for this one, I'm not gonna lie. Like, it's been a while since I touched the Pump Track bike, so, and like, I haven't hit dirt jumps for a while, so I'm a little sketchy out there, but no, it's like, I'm going pretty quick. We're gonna just see what we can do today, and I mean, all those other boys are going so quick, so.
I think you're doing okay, because you won your first run in the heat against Kyle Straight, so how are you feeling coming to the second one?
I think he's gonna put some pressure on me.
Yeah.
I think he's gonna give me heck on this one.
All right, well, we're gonna get underway. You're feeling confident about the conditions? The rain has gone away. They tarped it for a while, but it's looking pretty good now, looking pretty dry. How do you feel?
Yeah, I think it's gonna be good. Like some of the berms, like this one, I'm hitting all left-handers. So if I gotta take a foot off, my knee isn't hitting, my bad knee hitting the ground first. So I'm a little bit more confident with this left side.
That's what mountain biking is all about, dealing with the conditions. All right, Mitch, best of luck in the next run. Guys, back up to you.
He's such an awesome dude, Mitch Ropolato, man. Rope-a-dope. I like his style, but I really like what he said today about it. Just saying, he said it was easy. It was a walk in the park. Those first 3 wins were nothing for him. And now people come armed and ready to do battle.
It's funny, if you were to just watch him ride, you would think he's the most confident person on the face of the planet. And then hearing his words, he's going, wow, these guys are really putting on the pressure. I'm not that practiced up. Kyle's really going to bring the heat. But you look at him ride his bike, and he looks like, you know, he's a contender for the win tonight.
And Kyle Straight, like he said, Kyle Straight's going to be coming out gunning. And when you can beat a guy like Kyle Straight is a guy who can win this thing too as well. So that's a pretty big accomplishment to take the advantage over Kyle Straight in the first matchup.
Yeah, exactly. Both of those guys were kind of like the young prodigies. So it's kind of cool to see them matched up in the same heat together, to see, you know, who's built up the most skills after the talent really fades away, and it's more about the work you put in. And Kyle puts in the work, you know, Mitch puts in the work. Kyle's riding that full suspension bike, though, so we'll see what happens.
Look at the brackets as we're just about ready to get started again. You see the green dots. Let me remind you now, the green dots means they've already raced each other once, and so those people, they have the advantage. So that's Adrian with the advantage, Mitch Ropalato, Cheney, Thomas, Martin, Barry, and then Emily Sharon at the bottom right there. All the ones with the green dot, remember, they have the advantage going into their next matchup. So we're getting the riders ready. We are drying the course, taking the tarps off. We're done with this whole wet stuff, and we're going to get back down to business, hot and heavy. That's right, Crankworx Les Gets here, your Pump Tracks Challenge presented by RockShox. Second run's coming up for a round of 16 right after this.
To be the best, you have to go all in. We're all in, 100% dedicated to one bike. The 12-speed cassette's 10 to 50 tooth spread gives you a 500% gear range. This is Eagle, the all-new generation of one-by drivetrain technology from the company that lives one-by.
$30,000 trails in your pocket. Crankworx. Download the free app now.
Since the beginning of mountain bike suspension, people have used the same kind of thinking. Build the bike first, and then make the shock fit. But what if we design the shock first? Untethered from the old thinking, these new shocks are free to run with far less friction, making them super supple and reactive. Introducing our all-new Deluxe and Super Deluxe, the first metric offerings from RockShox. Because better shocks make better bikes.
Crankworx Les Gets brought to you by Whistler Mountain Bike Park. Love the feeling of being truly awake, Whistler Mountain Bike Park. And brought to you by Les Gets. Les Gets, where the action never stops. And getting back to the action here for you. You can see the riders are ready to go. Good. Are we going to get this thing going, Cam?
Looks like we are. I saw the course builders run around with bags of concrete, just absorbing all that water. It seems to be working. We don't see the course glowing anymore.
So it looks like they're doing a little work. They're going to fire up the torch. And that's where you're talking about that glassy sheen on those berms right there. So it looks like they're going to try and warm those up and see if they can dry those out just a little bit more, because that's where we saw the problem on that Looker's Right berm. All right, while we're waiting, let's talk a little bit more about the trails. We've highlighted a few of the trails, but there's another we want to talk about, isn't there?
Yeah, absolutely. We were talking earlier about how there's a wide range of different types of trails here, everything from gnarly steep to the flowy trails. Well, here's a trail called Canyon Noir. Basically epitomizes all the reasons you would come to the Port du Soleil region and hang out in Les Gets and ride downhill. This trail has all the, root-filled, downhill, rootsy, natural trails that you'd expect, but also some big jumps. You just saw those guys jumping over their buddy who took the other option. Full of different options here. You can take the easier route, or you can decide to jump over canyons like that. Basically, a trail that really takes advantage of the natural terrain out here in the high alpine of the French mountains.
Yeah, look at a little something for everyone. We've seen so many different style trails. And we truly, I know that's a cliche thing when you talk about there is something for everyone, but there really is out here in Les Gets. And that's the wrap up as they get down towards the town section. And you can see the drying going on. So taking every precaution to make this thing fast and make it safe, right?
It's pretty cool. Basically, watching everybody work so hard to make this happen. The last thing you ever want to do is cancel an event. So some things you don't have control over, like the weather, but it's cooperating at the moment. And now everybody's working hard on the things that they do have control over, bringing out the tiger torches, bringing out the bags of concrete. You could see your reflection in that berm just a few minutes ago, but now it's drying up, turning flat.
And that's what they're doing, taking every possible precaution necessary for all the riders, as our next group is sitting up there ready to go.
I'm literally looking at blue sky right now. It's so wild how much it's changed in the last 10 to 15 minutes.
The weather continuously changing, full moon coming out over here.
Ow!
As we take a look at things right now as they get things dry. I'll tell you what, I mean, how do you still got to ride a little bit safer, don't you? I mean, because we've seen the wet conditions. Yes, they've done some drying, but do you still got to kind of watch yourself?
I'm interested to see if they give them a quick little practice lap or if they just get right back into the brackets, because a lot can be learned from one trip around the track, knowing how comfortable you want to be with really leaning into those berms. You don't want to slide out like Max Fredriksson did, but you also don't want to not know, because you don't want to push it not hard enough and then realize you could have gone faster. Don't want to regret that.
Yeah, indeed. And you can see it once again. Taking a look over here, and that was the berm that we saw. Who had the trouble on that? That was
Max Fredriksson.
Fredriksson went down on that very berm to the right, Looker's Right, that they're drying up right there.
You watched him lose traction with the rear wheel, and then the front tire swapped. A little bit of a chain reaction, but he popped up pretty quick, picked up his cell phone, he was ready to rock.
And hoping to get this thing in. I think that when they give you the thumbs up and say it's okay to go, that I think we're just going to pick right up where we left off, and these guys are going to have to continue on.
I think you're right, actually. I don't know if there's any time for dilly-dallying. I think it's right back into bracketed racing.
Make sure that you try to join us tomorrow. Slope Style is coming your way tomorrow. That's the big show right there. And, of course, with Brandon Semenuk trying to go for the Triple Crown since he took the win in Rotorua. If he could take the win out here, the pressure would be on him to complete the three-peat and do it in, of course, in Whistler.
What a show that's going to be. Brandon wasn't sure if he was going to come to New Zealand. Then he won. Wasn't sure if he was going to come here. Can he do it again? Only guy still alive for that Triple Crown title.
Right there's Annika Bertin right there. You know what? We'll be seeing her later on, but she's the subject of our big number, right?
Well, Brad, on this edition of The Big Number, we got to talk about our reigning Queen of Crankworx champion from the 2015 season, Annika Bertin.
800. What does 800 mean?
800 is a pretty big number, and that's the amount of points she racked up during her campaign last season to win that Queen of Crankworx title.
That's a lot of points. Okay, but how about this number 4? What does this mean?
Very, very versatile athlete. 4 is the number of bikes that she's capable of winning on. Different bikes. She comes from a BMX background. She can win in pump tracks, so that would be a hardtail. She could win in enduro, and she also is no stranger to the downhill course. So very versatile, a jack of all trades.
Okay, 800, there's 4, but then 8. What are you going to tie in with 8?
Well, let's speak about her character now. She's never willing to give up. 8 was the amount of stitches she was competing in during Whistler last year. She crashed during whip-off, and then later that day, she was out there pumping it up in the pump track with stitches in her arm.
there's a look at her right there. The big number, and defending champ for the queen of Crankworx.
She's all smiles today. It doesn't look like she's got any stitches in her arm anymore.
Oh, she'll get serious when time comes. That's for sure. She may be having a good time. That's the matchup you're going to look at for the ladies. That is what's coming up. And then Annika Virtun, we're going to get Lucia Oetjen.
Oh, wow. Take a look
yeah.
at this, Brad. A little foreshadowing. We see Jill Kinder at the very top of your screen on the first bracket. Who do we see down there at the bottom? And Caroline Chasson. Could we see them meet up? But Jill Kinder would have to make it through Annika Virtun in the second round, so they're not going to be in the finals together.
But let's also talk about ACC, seeing her return back. She was the winner in France in 2015. So Anne-Caroline Chasson, she's out here, and she says, look, I'm here too. Don't forget about me. It's not a two-woman show. She has a chance to win it as well.
Yeah, she's saying, you guys have been playing around in New Zealand and Whistler, but I win in France. Bring it on.
And she can do just that because she beat Annika Virtun, and she did that in that year that she won in France in 2015. That's how she got there, through Emmeline Sagenthaler and then Annika Virtun. She beat there, and then ACC took the win. All right, so enough of the yapping, man. These guys are ready to go. You can see them. They're itching to drop in on this thing and get things happening here. Second run's coming up, a round of 16. Crankworx Les Gets will be back with racing next.
30,000 trails in your pocket. Trailforks. Download the free app now.
To be the best, you have to go all in. We're all in, 100% dedicated to one bike. The 12-speed cassette's 10 to 50 tooth spread gives you a 500% gear range. This is Eagle, the all-new generation of one-by drivetrain technology from the company that lives one-by. Since the beginning of mountain bike suspension, people have used the same kind of thinking. Build the bike first, and then make the shock fit. But what if we design the shock first? Untethered from the old thinking, these new shocks are free to run with far less friction, making them super supple and reactive. Introducing our all-new Deluxe and Super Deluxe, the first metric offerings from RockShox. Because better shocks make better bikes.
Crankworx Les Gets, brought to you by Les Gets Bike Park. Les Gets Bike Park, the best bike park in Europe. And also brought to you by SRAM. SRAM, the power of bicycles, SRAM. And there you go. You can see the clearing of the skies, the parting of the rain, and it's time to get back down to racing. Adrian Lerone, you can see him. He is going to be on the right on this one. Jackson Frew, he is going to be on the left. Now, Adrian Lerone with the advantage on this one, Cam.
Adrian Lerone, man, every single round matters. And dropping into this course right now, somewhat blind, not knowing how much traction there is. He's got a little bit of a lead over Jackson Frew right now, but not a healthy one. Jackson Frew actually hanging really tight. It's going to be a .57 there, Brad.
So the winner right there is going to go to Adrian Larone, and that means Adrian Larone is moving on. That's going to do it for Jackson Frew.
Well, good thing they waited. It's pretty amazing to see the conditions now compared to 20 minutes ago. Who we have next here, Brad?
Well, we got Michael Giznet, the winner of run number 1, and going against Phil Atwil from Great Britain. So France versus Great Britain here. Great Britain on the right, France on the left. Racers ready. Here we go. Back to racing here. Your Pump Track Challenge presented by RockShox.
Phil Atwil burying the front tire while he enters that first berm. Darn it. Phil Atwil is down. It's going to be all about Michael Giznet right here. France is going to triumph over Great Britain. Let's take a look back at what actually happened. It happened so quick. It caught us off guard.
You can see the shine on the tires. You see the wetness right there. So maybe that's something that got his way. Take another look here.
Here we go. First 3 rollers were nice, but boom, something grabbed that front wheel. It looked like, oh, that's what we couldn't see from those other angles.
Oh my gosh, tossed like a green salad on that one.
Tomahawked into the middle of that berm. It looks like he just got all stuffed up with those rollers and drove that front tire into the corner of that berm.
All right, now we have Mitch Ropalato going against Kyle Strait. Now, Mitch, the winner of run number 1, not by much. And when you're going against Kyle Strait, you got to have your A game. Here we go, back to racing.
The same thing happening to Mitch Ropalato on that rider's left side.
Not giving up.
Well, Kyle kind of finding one in the street right there, but he can't let up. So a .2 over Mitch Ropalato, but what did he have to make up?
He made up enough right there because so Mitch Ropalato is advancing on.
Yeah, I think he thought Mitch actually fully crashed. It looked like he wasn't going as hard as he could. He needed every little bit of that differential cut down.
Well, let's take another look here.
All right, so we see Mitch Ropalato on the right side of your screen make that bobble. Now let's keep an eye on Kyle. Nope, Kyle's still charging. It's really impressive that Mitch was able to recover so quickly. Kyle putting the hammer down, but Mitch sneaking back up there and not letting Kyle have it.
2-run format, so you got to be solid all the way through. So that looks like, so he has done what he needed to do. So Mitch Ropalato going to be moving on out of that one.
That was one heck of a save.
And now Joe Smith and Chandy Gounet from France. Joe Smith, Great Britain versus France. Here we go.
Gounet off to an early lead. There we go. We see a rider finally making it through that looker's right section where we've seen 2 bobbles the last 2 rounds. Joe Smith making it through that little trap, but not by enough. Chaney Gounet up by .19.
Yep, and he's going to advance on. He'll face off with Mitch Ropalato. Taking a look at the brackets right now. There's a look at it right now. See, once again, you can see those green dots. Those are the guys that move on that one. So Adrian Larone, he took the win there. Mike Guznet, he got the win. So they go to there, and then you see Mitch Ropalato, he moves on too as well.
So we're looking at those green dots. That means Thomas Slavic does have the advantage coming into this round. They switched courses. So let's see if Slavic can hold on to it.
Round of 16 in Leger, the Pump Track Challenge presented by RockShox. Here we go. Kevin McQuell from France, Thomas Slavic, winner of run number 1. Slavic on the right, here we go.
Kevin McQuell having to make up a .63, which is a pretty long margin on a short course like this. He's gonna have to do a little bit more than what we're seeing right now. Thomas Slavic just cruising to the finish line, tripling out of that rhythm section. I'm not sure if we've seen that yet. Well, there we go. Easy lead, up by 1.69 once both runs were calculated. Look who we got now, Brad.
Oh, yeah, the big Swede. He is hungry after an early departure today from dual speed and style. He does not want that to happen. He is the winner of run number 1 against Keegan Wright. Keegan Wright can hold his own, though, in this one. So the big Swede against Keegan Wright. Keegan Wright on the right. Here we go. Back to action. Second matchup. Martin's got to be on it right here.
Wow, we've seen Keegan Wright knock out some big names in the past. Can he do it here with Martin Soderstrom? They are truly neck and neck. Martin Soderstrom putting that lengthy stature to use, squeaking across by about a half a second.
Let's go look at that final straightaway right there of Martin because that was
Watch
neck
that
and
back
neck.
wheel, Brad. Look at this. Manual.
Manual.
Wow.
And they were close too until he just manualed through everything that kind of just increased his distance.
Well, that's what we were talking about in the telestrator feature. You saw Martin really put down the power over that back wheel while Keegan Wright was airing, and Martin just kind of pulled his lead ahead right there.
Barry Nobles, you can see right there, he is locked and loaded to go on the right. And so Barry Nobles was going against Matt Ferguson, but I think Max might be out on this one because he took a pretty hefty slam.
Yeah, Max Fredrickson may be prioritizing, knowing that slopestyle is his biggest focus out here in Crankworx Les Gets. Barry Nobles just taking the opportunity to flex the tattooed muscles. Looks like they're looking behind that start tower. They're waiting for Max Fredrickson to show up.
Yeah, so no, it looks like that Max is definitely out from going down that scorpion that he did on that first one.
You really got to hope that he's not actually injured. Hopefully he's just prioritizing.
So Barry Nobles will get an easy pass and he'll move on.
Never say easy, sliding out in that gate, learning a little bit about how much water's on that thing for his next round. This one, nobody challenging him, so he can cruise it to the finish smoothly. He'll be moving on to the next round.
All right, well, let's check in as Barry Nobles knows that he'll be moving on. We're going to check in with Hannah Bernard with an update on what's going on. Hannah, what's happening down there?
Update. Guys, I have a little bit of an update on the heat between Kyle Straight and Mitch Robolato. So unfortunately, when Mitch Robolato had that little slip at that first berm, he did pedal, which is actually qualifies for a disqualification. So Kyle Straight will be moving on from that heat. Unfortunately for Mitch, he just kind of lost his footing and he had to pedal to get back into it, and he really did. He had a good chance at it, but unfortunately Kyle Straight will be moving on.
Well, I mean, fortunately for him, but you know, unfortunately for Mitch Robolato, but yeah, Kyle Straight, you know, definitely he got taken out early today in dual speed and style, so, you know, he wants to advance on.
Good to see Kyle move on, but what are you supposed to do if you're at a dead stop? How do you get going without taking a couple pedal strokes?
Well, if you are
Rules are rules, I guess.
Yeah, if you're at a dead stop, you can't put the pedal strokes in. Here we go, next matchup, Adrian Daly, Emmeline Sharon. Looks good right here towards the end. Going to cruise across. No problem there.
Emmeline Sharon making it look easy right there.
Emmeline Sharon will be moving on, and he'll face Barry Nobles. So now we're going to change things up. Put the ladies up there in the gates. They've been frothing to get on in here, and Jill Kittner going against Steffi Marth. Be our first matchup. Now with conditions, I don't think this is a gimme on this situation because we've seen anything can happen. So the unthinkable, we saw with Jill Kittner. Remember, she stalled in the gates a couple years ago. That cost her the entire competition. So you know that she's aware of that. She's probably aware of the conditions, but then Steffi Marth, she's just got to run her race.
Well, we think that the guys don't know what the course is like right now. The girls haven't even dropped in yet.
Yeah.
So we're just getting the girls going right now, and they're just wondering, how slippery is this course?
Jill Kittner there. You can see her on the left. Steffi Marth from Germany. Going to be on the right. Here we go. The drop right to Jill.
Well, we talked about Jill Kittner earlier, foreshadowing the fact that we expected her to do well here, and I mean, that's based off of history. She always does well here in the Pump Track Challenge. And getting off to a great start right now against Steffi Marth with a 1.22 advantage for Jill Kittner.
You know what you got to see, you got to take a look at Jill there. Her upper body, how she just works that through all those rollers right there and stays on. Look at that. Look at the elbows. Look at the shoulders.
Well, she's a true lifer when it comes to ripping berms and pumping rollers. She grew up racing BMX, and then she transitioned those skills into mountain biking. Very, very accomplished in both of those disciplines. She's got an Olympic medal to her name.
She sure does. That's a bronze medal from the Olympics. I think that was in Beijing in 2008. Annika Birchen now, Lucia Otjen. These two going at it for the first time here. Talked a lot about Annika Birchen. If she could do her thing, she would end up facing Jill Kittner in the semis. And back to racing camp.
That's a good point, Brad. Really interesting if Annika Beerden's able to make it out of this round. We usually see Jill and Annika meeting up in the finals, but they will be meeting up in the
look
second
at this.
round here.
Look at this. This is, what?
Wow, not so fast. Lucia Ochin.
Don't sell the farm yet, Bubba. Lucia Ochin now the winner of run number 1, so she's going to go ahead and take the advantage right there.
Well, we're talking about how we would not see Annika and Jill in the final. Well, will we even see them in a round together at all?
Interesting turn of events here. And now we have Laura Redhouse, Danielle Beecroft.
You were saying you saw a video of Danielle Beecroft actually doing a backflip. Was that right?
Is that her, the one I saw? Well, let's take a look at how they're going to match up here, round of 8.
Danielle Beecroft on the right-hand side of your screen right here. Well, she's falling behind. Oh, no, she's actually in the lead. Gloria Bredhauser working toward minimizing that differential. She kept it to a .08. That will help when they switch sides and go at it again.
Yeah, so she'll have the advantage, and now we get ACC and Geraldine Fink now. Geraldine Fink, the Swiss rider on the right. ACC from France, she is, of course, on the left. I mean, 2015, she took the win in France in pump track. Then she was ill after that. Good to see her back because she knows how to ride. And look at that, she gets the drop, Cam.
Straight up amazing to see her back. Obviously, it was exciting to see her take the win in France, but yeah, battling some serious health issues. And right now, the fact that she's out here racing is amazing. The fact that she's gonna cross the finish line.
What?
Barely ahead of Geraldine Fink by .03. Amazing to see her out here and also in true form as well.
Yeah, we've got to take a look at that finish right there. Neck and neck.
Closest gap we've seen so far. This is a great camera view to actually see that. You know, if it weren't for this timing equipment, you wouldn't actually know who won.
Oh, well, we know right now that ACC, she's going to have the advantage with that one right there. So they'll go match it up again. Yeah, let's check in with Hannah. I think she's standing by with ACC right now. Hannah?
Thanks very much, guys. Yes, I'm here with the one and only ACC. Now, you got on the podium in this event in France before. How badly do you want it again?
Things has changed a lot for me during this time, 1 year already. So I'm just coming back on the bike. Just want to have fun.
Yeah.
And trying to have some good riding.
Now, the biking public wants to know, how are you feeling? We all know your story. You're such a hero. How are you feeling, Anne?
I'm on the bike, so I'm already happy to be here. It's getting back. I'm getting back in shape quickly, slowly, but surely. So I'm happy to be here and just want to have some fun.
We're so happy to see you back on the bike. Best of luck in the next heat, guys. Back up to you.
That's a feel-good story right there. Just to see her back, and you see what she says. She goes, maybe she's not 100% right now, but she just is happy to be back on the bike.
I don't think anybody really expected to see her back so soon, but to see the smile on her face, and she's out here to have fun. Yeah, she won last year, but it's been a rough year for her, and she's out here to have a good time. Great to see her out.
So there's our next matchup for the guys now coming up. Adrian Larone against that man right there, Michael Gaznet.
The Gibson guitar sticker on his helmet, I like that.
That's pretty good if that's your sponsor. Adrian Larone, looks like he doesn't get the snap out of that one.
Yeah, but he's looking quick, making it to that back berm fastest and carrying a ton of speed in that straightaway. He'll cross the finish line first by a margin of .29. Adrian Larone looking strong, Brad. We were expecting it.
That's called a game face right there, Cam. Look at that game face.
He was talking about how he didn't have a lot of practice, but he knows this course in and out. So maybe not the physical game, but he's got the mental game.
Well, we thought Kyle Straight was out because Mitro Pilato got him at the end, but you're not allowed to get those pedal strokes in, so that eclipsed Mitro Pilato, but Kyle Straight stays in. And here he goes against Chani Gunet now.
Hey, rules are rules, right? It makes sense. I guess it's a pump track, not a pedal track.
Oh, and here we go. Let's see if Kyle Straight can use that to his advantage. Looks like he's a little bit behind.
Don't forget Kyle Straight running that dual suspension bike. So a little bit of that energy is lost when the suspension moves. And that's definitely playing a factor right now, but hanging tough against guys on hardtails, very impressive for Kyle Straight.
Yeah, so Cheney's going to take the edge, and that's going to be a big one to make up for Kyle Straight. Well, he's a big man, so I'm sure he'll be up for the task. It's almost Slavic and Martin. Oh, this could be a final, right? This could be the gold medal matchup.
Look at his eyes, Brad. Martin Soderstrom is focused.
Red Bull versus Red Bull on this one.
Wow, look at Martin Soderstrom. Oh, no!
And then he goes off on this side. What?
Oh, wow, get your bike, Martin.
But they're both.
Okay, well.
Wait, is he going to tackle him?
I think they're just going to fight to the finish. That's not what we mean by fight to the finish.
So I don't know how this works.
Literally, guys.
Because they both go down.
Well, I mean, hey, Martin, you should get on your. What are you doing, Martin? Oh, goodness.
Martin is helping him?
Here I am. Oh, look at this.
Then Martin falls again without
Talking
the
about
bike.
how Martin had the game face on. That completely went out the window as soon as they both fell over. Martin goes over and hugs him, pushes him across the finish line. We gotta take a look back at this. What the heck is going on, Brad?
I have no idea. Take a look. Here we go. Martin.
From game face.
Oh, he just.
So, wow, the game's over. To then looking up and seeing, wow, maybe it's not over after all.
And he's running.
Then we turn into WWE. Very confused as to what our scores are going to be at the end of this run and how we re-rack it. Are we going toward the max differential? Slavic going to take a 1-5 over Martin Soderstrom?
Yeah, we're getting word right now that Slavic's going to have the maximum advantage over Martin. But I'll tell you what, in this race, in these conditions, anything can happen for sure.
Yeah, obviously anything. He went from game face to just running around all jovial and not caring about the race. That was crazy.
And now Barry Nobles and Sharon. Nobles a solid rider. BMX background for sure. Here we go, round of 8. Oh!
I mean, Sharon actually looking like he's.
Wow,
he's got
Nobles
the edge. Hanging tight. Oh, and losing pedals through the rhythm section.
And look at Nobles staying on.
Nobles gapped that triple at the end too.
A madman.
Did he lose his pants?
What happened?
He still got pants on.
Okay, well that's good. G-rated show here.
Yeah, you do not want your feet to fall off in that rhythm section. That's a great way to get hucklebucked. You got catapulted. Okay, we got a little bit of rain going there. Hopefully that stops.
What happened here?
Okay, let's take a look. Right side of your screen. Feet off, sitting down.
Fucking Bronco, man.
Yeah, if you don't have your feet on the pedals, that seat comes up and just kicks your rear end right over the handlebars. I mean, Barry Nobles was definitely a little bit smoother through that section and did a great job not running him over.
Almost had to just... Steffi Martha and Jill Kittner now.
Jill Kittner's got a healthy advantage of 1.22. She's just got to keep it smooth, but easier said than done now. We see a little bit of rain falling from the sky.
So let each one race to.
So Jill Kittner, Steffi Martha, here we go. Jill's just got to run the kind of races she knows how to do.
Jill Kittner with a great start. She's got to be careful, though, because it is raining. She's definitely playing the strategy card here. That's perfect. She knew she had a 1.22 advantage. She kept it smooth, did not want to slide out. She will be moving on.
Yeah, for sure. So Jill Kittner will advance on, so that does it for her. She's made her way into the semis just like that. And now this was a good one between these two. Look at the difference, just 0.05.
And not exactly the 0.05 on the side that you would expect to see.
You would think that that would be on a Convergent side, but no, it's on Lucia Ochen's side.
So Lucia absolutely killing it right here. Can she crush Annika's hopes at winning this thing?
All right, a little bit of rain going on right now. Taking a look at the women's bracket right now, so you can see Jill Kittner's done her thing. She's moving on to the semis. Lucia Ochen, she has the edge, but not by much, 0.05 on that one. Danielle Beecroft, she has the edge over Laura on that one. And then you got ACC, who just has a little bit of that lead too as well. The French rider trying to make her way, coming back from, being quite sick and trying to get back into the mix. So tough break on her, but she's back on her bike, and that's good stuff. All right, so we're gonna look like we're back into a slight rain hold right now. So stay with us, and we'll be right back with more. We'll try to get things going. We'll see what's course is gonna hold for us. We'll come back right after this. Stay with us. Les Gets Crankworx, stop number 2.
To be the best, you have to go all in. We're all in, 100% dedicated to one bike. The 12-speed cassette's 10 to 50 tooth spread gives you a 500% gear range. This is Eagle, the all-new generation of one-by drivetrain technology from the company that lives one-by.
$30,000 trails in your pocket. Crankworx. Download the free app now.
Since the beginning of mountain bike suspension, people have used the same kind of thinking. Build the bike first, and then make the shock fit. But what if we design the shock first? Untethered from the old thinking, these new shocks are free to run with far less friction, making them super supple and reactive. Introducing our all-new Deluxe and Super Deluxe, the first metric offerings from RockShox. Because better shocks make better bikes.
Crankworx Les Gets brought to you by Whistler Mountain Bike Park. Love the feeling of being truly awake. Whistler Mountain Bike Park. And also brought to you by Les Gets. Les Gets, where the action never stops. All right, so we're getting back into it right now. We're in, once again, another slight rain hold. Thing is getting a little slipperier. Let's take a look at some of the stuff that's gone down because of these slippery conditions. Put together a little something for you and show you what's been going on here in just a moment, as we're getting word right now to see what is going on. Are we going to be able to finish this? Are we going to be able to try this? It's going to be all right, while we're waiting, Cam, can you tell us a little bit about the downhill course that we're going to be seeing on Sunday out here? I mean, this place means so much to downhill, and this is where it all started back in '92. But talk a little bit about it.
Well, pretty legendary. I believe it was 2004 when the World Championships were held here. And Fabian Burrell triumphing over Steve Peat, so it's a classic course. I think Freehub Meg called it one of the most important downhill courses in the history of the sport. Right now we're on board, checking this thing out. You saw that big road gap and very, very rough, you know, like grass. So that stuff, with all the rain we've been getting, it's gonna be a big challenge. Everybody's gonna be running those mud spikes, and it's raw, you know, it's very natural terrain, and it's gonna look a lot different at the end of Sunday than it does on this POV view right now with all those spike tires ripping down it. You know, that's like what downhill is all about, just throwing some flags and some tape down a piece of the mountain, not really necessarily digging it up with an excavator, just keeping it raw. So this is a true raw downhill race course.
Oh, yeah, you can see it right there. That's Tristan Merrick. He'll be announcing the DH alongside with myself on Sunday. So he had a chance to get there and kind of pre-run this course and take a look at it for himself.
Look at that. That lip leads to just no landing. I love how raw they kept it. And Tristan, man, first run down, definitely carrying good speed. That was a cool shot.
And even utilizes some of the some part of that track from the 2004 year. So they're utilizing some of that in this course too as well.
Man, that's cool. It's cool to bring that historical aspect into it.
Well, slippery conditions out there, and we've seen a lot of people go down, been a lot of carnage out there. So why don't we take a look at some of the carnage that we've seen so far out here in your Pump Track Challenge.
It's been rowdy so far. Take a look right here. Martin Soderstrom looks like he's doing like a lip slide over the top of that berm. Spends a lot of time in the skate park, but he wasn't trying to do it that time. Turns it into a wrestling match. That was fun to watch.
I don't think he knew what he was going to do, and he's like, you know what? Oh, wait a minute. Maybe what the heck?
A little improv. He's like, you know, you didn't fall over. Go across the finish line.
Let me help you. And then he falls.
Because if he were to pedal, he would be DQ'd, right?
And then he falls right there behind him.
What's going on?
He barely can stand up.
All right, watch front wheel.
Oh.
Whoopsie.
Ouch.
We saw another camera angle of that, too. He actually thumped pretty hard into the middle of that berm. Popped up quick, though. Phil Atwill, man of steel.
That'll put your wallet in place, that's for sure.
And I think it was kind of like a couple runs later, we ran into some problems in the final rhythm section here. Feet off, Rodeo, Hucklebuck.
Nose just staying this. I'll just air over him. That's cool.
Almost nose bonking him. That was a little bit reminiscent of what Barry Nobles grew up doing, racing BMX, bar to bar, elbow to elbow. And this is the first crash we saw. This is when we still actually kind of had.
Oh, this is Max's crash right there.
Some light out there.
Scorp.
Max right to the face. That was actually the toughest looking one. That was the first one we saw, and that was the hardest crash. Max got a big day tomorrow. I'm hoping he's not too sore.
Well, unfortunately, that just didn't work out for him. But Max has a big day talking about slopestyle. So I think, you know, err on the side of caution, and you want to make sure that you're okay for the big show tomorrow. That's for sure.
Big time. Hit his shoulder a little bit,
right.
hopefully just a little ding.
All right, well, it's time to check in with Hannah. Let's find out what's going on. What's the deal down there, Hannah, with the course conditions?
All right, guys. Well, it seems that Mother Nature is going to win this round. As we spoke before, yes, I'm the bearer of bad news. I'm so sorry. So as of right now, the event is postponed. We don't have a date for when it will be going through, but you can look on Crankworx.com for updates on when the event will be happening again. Unfortunately, it's all about rider safety out here, and we want to make sure that these riders are not getting injured. So unfortunately, the event is postponed. So sorry.
I'm glad that you got to do that, Hannah. That's fine.
I know. I'm the one that has to tell the news. I feel so bad. I have all these eyes on me like, really?
Hannah.
Really? It's canceled?
Well,
I know.
Hannah?
It's Hannah's fault that this just happened. It's all Hannah's fault.
Just remember, I've been down here in the rain and the mud. You should see my shoes. They are no longer the color they were. They are now brown. You guys have been sitting pretty up there, okay? So, like, I've had the tough job here tonight.
Well,
tweet hashtag what the heck, Hannah.
Yeah, well,
what the heck? Blame me. I'm the scapegoat.
Well, when it's all done, we have a couch that you can come sit down and relax on, okay?
You can see the dark clouds. You guys can see it too. And we just want to make sure that no one is getting injured. As we just saw a lot of those crashes, we just don't want anyone else to get hurt.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Hannah, for
Sorry
being
for the bad news. See, the rain is coming down now too.
Better you than us up here. All right. Well, we'll have updates for you. Go to Crankworx.com. You'll be able to get the breakdown of when we're going to rerun that and how we're going to do it. Do we continue with where we're going? We'll find out more about that. That's on Crankworx.com. We'll keep you updated there. But tomorrow, slopestyle.
Ooh.
The big show.
Yeah, it's going to be a big one tomorrow. It's pretty wild how little practice these guys have had, but with all the sun we had today, the practice session was going off. It wasn't a typical first day of practice where everybody's just getting their feet wet. There were bangers being thrown down, and it really foreshadows what an amazing show we're going to see tomorrow.
Yeah, and that'll be a 10:30 local time out here to get things going on that. So we'll break everything down for you. Thanks for being part of it. Sorry it didn't go the way it should have gone for us. Hey, Mother Nature not cooperating, but we ain't done yet. You make sure you go to Crankworx.com for all the latest updates and find out weather-related stuff and when we're going to be able to get things started. Well, on behalf of our entire Crankworx crew, thanks for being part of a day that was ups and downs, but on behalf of Hannah Bernard, Cam McCall, and the rest of us out here, thanks for being part of it. Check Crankworx.com for updates. See ya.